let's just...
The stream is out there.
Yeah, let's just connect this shit. Well, let's see. Does Facebook go? Come on. Come on, Facebook.
Facebook.
Come on, Facebook. Let's do it.
What the do?
Why do I gotta? How come my other networks? I can't. I don't have to wait, but Facebook makes me wait. All right, we're going live, and here we go.
Very Dad Ideas is a live streaming show with two dads, a voice actor, and an animator who put the kids to bed and get permission from their wives to dick around on their expensive computers. They have been known to say things like Minecraft, broccoli red lentil oat, Lego Worlds, Blues Monkey City, yogurt melty, Caesar's thoughts, organic teethers, Candy Crush, kale, sweet corn, and quinoa, Bubble Witch, and organic creamies. All right, you're joining us now at the top of the program. You've just gone live at Very Dad Ideas. I'm Darren Jennings.
Hey, I'm Nye. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome.
We're dragging something harsh tonight, folks. Like
yeah, we are. Just to take just a quick second here, we're full-time dads, and we really been doing some dadding. It's sort of like an opening that's a Tales from the Dad side. We're just sort of both exhausted, but for different reasons.
And I don't know if our chat. It looks like our chat is now up. So if you're joining us and on any of the platforms and you want to join in, please feel free to comment and talk to us.
Absolutely.
We got a pretty good episode tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about feeding our kids, or we're going to be trying a new bit out tonight, and then we're also going to talk about video games. When we're going to start giving video games to our kids, or when it's appropriate, and
absolutely
all kinds of stuff. But everyone has to be okay with maybe a 4 level of energy.
Yeah, this is as excited as I can get, and I've had a half a cup of cold coffee, as has Nye. And
I'm having the cold coffee as we speak right now. Cold coffee.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
I decided to jazz up I've been drinking out of just like a giant glass of water, and this is budget right here, baby.
I know. Well, talk shows always have these little cups, right? Like maybe we should get
This is my attitude. Yeah.
Oh man! So how's the week been? I mean, obviously tonight has been rough.
So the last couple of days, the youngest is he's teething.
Oh,
he's compelled to sort of get up onto all fours.
How old is he now? How old is your youngest? 8 months.
He's 8 months, and he's got like a head cold. He's teething, and he's just been moaning his way through the night. So you don't really sleep. You just sort of kind of dip in and out. And I understand for you guys had to divide the bed because I mean, right?
Well, so Toby is 4 months and some change, and he started talking now. So he's just going, and
like a pterodactyl.
My wife can't sleep, and she has to work at the hospital. So she's like, so I just took him outside, and I slept on the couch, or slept on the couch with him.
Right.
So
that's just where you get kicked in the ribs and/or groin area.
So we're very slow dad ideas tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty over here. I'm in, and also it's cold up here. It's cold in Northern California.
Oh, it's freaking cold down here too, man. Well, I mean, relatively, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Darren, you came to me with this new bit. Why don't you explain to us what this bit is for our no viewers?
So it's the idea is it's just sort of half of a sentence. Just feeding my kids is like, and then it's a jumping off point from Office Space.
Right. So it's sort of like one of those old improv games where you're like, you go in, someone's going to a bar and they do a thing or whatever.
Right.
So we'll go into our little intro, and then I guess you kick it off, and then we ping pong back and forth for a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go to you first. Let's do it.
Feeding my kid is like painting the Golden Gate Bridge.
Why is that?
Now this is, I love to work NorCal in any kind of story, but as soon as you finish painting the Golden Gate Bridge,
right,
at the very end of your job, how long it takes? Let's say it takes a week, 2 weeks. These guys are union guys. What they do is they turn around, they just start painting back, because by then they have to paint it again because it rusts off. It's the same thing, Nye, as it is with feeding my kid.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it takes about an hour to feed him 8 ounces of food.
Right.
Right.
And as soon as you're finished,
as soon as I'm done, what I should do is go and get 8 more ounces of food, just crack those open. And so I just spend my day just sort of. You know what you can't do? You can't do this without doing this. It's impossible to do. Try feeding your kid and really realize that you're always like this at your kid. Which is just what your parents would do.
So put a mirror up next time you feed your kid. All right.
Brush your teeth.
All right, I got one. So there we go. So feeding my kid is like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, because every time I feed my kid and Mickey Mouse shows up, everything gets fucked up. I swear to God, I have to like if Mickey is on the TV, or there's his stuffed animal, or there's anything related to Mickey Mouse at all, the chance of him successfully putting food in his mouth and eating goes way, way down. So I have to bracket Mickey Mouse away from my kid feeding. So
that's fucking hysterical, dude. That is absolutely what feeding your kid is like. I mean, just the amount of devices and things that
you need to bracket away.
Pop up and just get in your kid's face. Yeah.
All right. What do you got? What's your next one?
Feeding my kid is like mission control is another one that I have, because I am constantly counting down to some sort of nebulous ending of whatever. I'm just like, all right, Luke, they say don't be one of those guys who's always counting. I'm like, that's the only way I get him to do anything. Either that, or I tell him I'm going to beat him to wherever it is that we're going.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to beat you to the end of this bowl of peas. He'll do that. But if you just go but the countdown thing is you're just constantly just in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit back down in your seat, put that down, pick up your fork, put your back in your lap. I'm just constantly mission controlling my kid. I'm just
nice.
Just in a position where I'm just
in 3 seconds we're going to be doing this.
Listen to yourself when occasionally when you go outside and you're in public and you're just I'm counting at my kid
out loud,
and I fucking mean it. Yeah, it's fucked up.
All right, I got one for Toby, which is my youngest.
Okay.
It's my 4-month-old. So feeding my kid is like The Exorcist at a dairy farm. And we're not actually, he's still on the boob, so he's still right
on, yeah, right. 4 months. Yeah,
but he gorges himself, and then for the next 20 minutes afterwards, it's just, if you're holding him, there's just a trail of
oh yeah
just going everywhere.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny because it's so true. They just they get going on those things, and maybe they get a little too much. And the burping that leads into my third one.
Oh, you got another one. Okay.
Yeah, feeding my kid is is sort of at the end of a party at a frat house.
Okay.
Sort of, especially when Sam and Luke were very young. It's they drink and drink and drink and drink, and then they pass out in your arms.
Yeah.
You literally like Allie will have him, and then he'll just pull off the boob, and he'll just be like,
yeah, the end of the night.
Yeah, and it's the end of the night at a frat party, or maybe not frat party, just any party, just where you just drink copious amounts of boobs, but copious amounts of booze. It's that kind of show tonight.
It's that kind of show. That kind of show. We had a great show last week. It's okay if we phone this.
We did. Tonight's just going to be there's just people were just driving trucks through their pauses.
I got a couple others, but they're garbage. Should I do it anyways, or just like?
Yeah, man, fucking do it. I even have like a sappy one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So feeding my kid. That's all I got on that one. Hey, I'll do one more since that one sucked. I'll just do one more. I'll put the two suck ones together. Feeding my kid is like the Love Boat. It's exciting and new.
Oh my god, you are terrible. All right, yeah, no, you shouldn't have done those. I'm gonna do my sappy one now, and I'll just wring out a big gross sponge on all this.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like, and this isn't really is Leica. This is just feeding my kid is sort of a grounding point in my day because it is sort of a discipline. Like I was saying in the other joke, I was just like, you just feed him, and then what you should do is probably just feed him again.
Yeah.
That's sort of what, like, draw like 20 metaphors from just like spooning food into your. I mean, you're spoon feeding your kid.
Yeah.
I mean, and like the whole time, like, depending on your attitude and mood, you can really connect with your kid. You can just, I mean, not like just making like train noises, but you can just be like, hey, you can sort of like enact some of the arbitrary rules that you have as a parent. You can be like, oh, well, today we're eating, the two last little bits of squash from two separate jars of squash. Why would anyone have that? Like, you have an opportunity then,
right,
to sort of impose your like weird rules, like, or you're like, the only thing you have is just apples. You just have apples, and you just have prunes, and you're like, I'm creating my own problems here.
Yeah. I like your point about it's kind of anchors. It's like I do enjoy breakfast with Griff in the morning, where he chooses the yogurt, and we kind of go through our routines, and it's a good like.
He's a yogurt guy. That's great. That's easy, and I love that.
Big yogurt guy. In fact, the great thing about yogurt is that like you can put a pack of 6 that are like blueberry or strawberry or banana or whatever, and he gets to choose one, and he feels like I want to break it off, and he rips the thing off, and
so great that you give him
that.
Yeah.
All that stuff is great.
Yeah.
All right, so should we move on to our main segment here? Or
yeah, let's do it, man. Let's walk on in.
Let's move to our main segment. Our main segment tonight is about video games, and I mean, Darren and I could probably talk all day about video games itself, but specifically video games, and when do you introduce them to your kid? I mean, it's kind of like
as it applies to your kid, yeah.
As it applies to your kid, and often it's about like we talk about this all the time about how technology is fucking us up.
Yeah.
But
well, and if you look back even like 4 or 5 years ago, like there's still like everyone was still had enough of a hard on for like technology that they were willing to look past all of the just like people just like this, like,
yeah.
10 years ago, people were like,
Silicon Valley was like, technology is going to solve everything.
They're like, hey, and like the Facebook dude, somebody just made. I mean, he was just writing off a 2010 movie that was about him making a fucking app, like, and it was like Best Picture. Maybe it wasn't Best Picture, but
yeah. About a guy who fucks over his best friend and then takes over the world and destroys an election.
Yeah. Goes on to really just sort of fuck things up, like, in a way that they definitely thought, like, because I mean, he was all like, like, don't trust anybody over 30. Like, he was.
So, but like, video games for us are kind of special because we're both, I mean, we're not quite the gamers we used to be when we didn't have kids, but it's also
video games. Lust after the video games, but like, I can see my kid lusting after them now too.
So when did you start? Like, when's your earliest memory about video games, and how did you get into it? Was it just like straight up addiction for you, or what? I mean, where was it? Where did it kind of start?
I think pretty much instantly. I thought they were awesome. I remember it was somewhere in the 70s. It was before, because we moved when I was in first grade, and so the people across the street from us in that house that I had an Atari, either 2600 or 5200 or whatever. Whatever had Pong and like had the wheels and the joysticks.
The tank game where you drive around. My buddy Jonathan had an Atari, and we used to do that too.
There's never been a more realistic setting to drive a tank. If you ever drive a tank, you'll find that your settings are just exactly like
that. Absolutely, exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, I remember it was like ColecoVision. Like, we used to go to a local pizzeria because there was ColecoVision there, and like in arcades. So I mean, this is the thing, is like it's not pervasive everywhere in our youth. When we were like, video games was kind of like
you had to go to them.
You had to go to them. Yeah.
Or somebody, like somebody in the neighborhood parents bought them a console. I remember very shortly after that, though, the next move we did, we got an Intellivision, right? Because there's Atari, there's Intellivision, there's ColecoVision.
Right.
And like those sort of ruled the day back then. That and like all manner of like little handheld stuff like that, but that weren't branded by Nintendo or Sega or any of those things that are out today.
Right. Like Intellivision or ColecoVision was basically just Frogger or like Burger Time or was something. I mean,
ColecoVision had sort of the better graphics of the other two. Like
yeah, that's
Atari
true.
Had a number of titles. I think Intellivision had some smart, fun games.
But the Atari, I thought, they had great designers and they had some really interesting games. And it's also the joystick with the red button.
Oh yeah, and they had the best box art on all of their video games.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, I think the difference that we're talking about here is that you had to go to video games. I mean,
you had to go to.
There was
you had to get into a car, somebody to drive you, somebody to pick you up. You know,
like dropped off at the arcade or whatever.
The arcade might have been at the mall.
Right.
Probably was at the mall, or like you said, the pizza parlor. You had to go to it. It wasn't
by the time I had games sort of on demand or quote unquote on demand, like I had a Commodore 64 in our attic, and so I was able to play a lot of really great games. I mean, we just had tons and tons of games on floppy disks back then.
Yep.
And so, but that,
5 1/4. I had an Apple IIe, and I had Captain Goodnight and the Island of Fear, and just like tons of great video games. Yeah.
Right. And so by that point, though, we were definitely in like 5th or 6th grade, or something like that.
Sort of prime video gaming.
So I mean, the question now, Darren, is like, when does Luke get a hold of video games? You've already started exposing him, right?
He has. We've logged a couple of hours at the arcade in Alameda. There is you pay by the hour,
right?
And they have, they have those consoles that have like hundreds of video games in them.
Uh-huh.
They have a few of those. They have some. They have like the old ray trace Star Wars like X-wing game.
Oh yeah, the vector graphic one where you blow the top of the things off, and then you just blow up.
Dude.
That was a great one.
Starbursts come in at you, and you have to.
Yeah. That was a great one. But those are like classic, video games.
They have the old school Punch Out with the big green knock him out button. Like, and they have some of the good stuff.
But you would never let him play like I don't know, Diablo or something, or like, I mean that kind of stuff is first of all, it's very complex, and second of all, it's like
it's too much. It's way too much for a kid to have to think about. I think especially at 5. I mean, I feel like very quickly, it's sort of a sophisticated world, and kids love to hear what just the slightly older kids are doing. I don't know if you've found that, and so the slightly older kids they're doing Beyblades right now, but 1 or 2 of them occasionally.
Oh, Beyblades, but also is in Minecraft is just like crazy.
Well, right, that's the Minecraft, and I guess there's actually a Lego one that's sort of a Minecraft thing.
Yeah, well, all the Lego games are very, very big with the kids, like because they just take the brand and they let them play the characters and whatever. I'm not really sure. I haven't quite gotten to this level yet. I mean, I'm surprised.
Yeah, what's your take on it? Because looking forward to it, what do you think?
Well, so as somebody who like writing video games myself, right? So,
because you've written video games.
Yeah, I've written video games, and also like I kind of.
You don't have a shiny Mark Hamill, right?
No, I don't. I don't have a shiny Mark Hamill. That's your badge of honor, Darren. We
so bad at pointing on the teeth.
I know, it's opposite. Yeah, I mean, I remember loving the shit out of so many video games, and they kind of like just lay dormant. And then in my late 20s, when I was like, I started writing video games again. It was a different mindset for me, because I had like really focused on animation, which is a very linear kind of mindset. And then video games aren't like that. They're kind of like, if this happens, any of these things can happen, as opposed to like, and so I had to like retrain my brain a little bit. And I think that retraining of my brain was very valuable to my ability to do technical crap. Like, you might like even Commander Cluck or whatever is probably partly responsible for my ability to make this show here. For
I did voices on Commander Cluck.
It's true, you did Clucktacular voices.
I did.
But I think like that's a very valuable experience with technology. It's like if you're learning.
Did you find this has anything to do with kids? But did you find that you didn't enjoy video games after that?
I enjoyed different games for different reasons. So like, remember that Outland game that I just played the shit over? Like you would go and drink together.
Power of red over blue or blue over
dude,
red.
I just played that over and over again because I felt
shit out of that game.
I played the shit out of that game. I must have like beat it like 30 times, right? And
that's like your Dota. I love Dota.
The thing about that was it's just like I really, as I was like fascinated with platformers and like incentivization and like how how big the jump was and how you climb and stuff. That game was so great with that I like really liked it. And if I was like creating,
there's something to be said for a really masterful 2D side scroller. You know? I mean,
yeah, I agree. But I feel like because, I mean, if you're playing a certain kind of character, do you find that you want to like watch people who've done that kind of character well? Like if you were playing like a bad guy, do you watch like, Gary Oldman or something, or what? I mean, like, I don't know.
Do you watch Kevin Spacey in his video games, or do you watch him in his sorry.
I guess the short answer is I want to share video games with my kid. I just worry about the shit.
No, I do too. I mean, I was sort of I sat down and I looked at like, a few articles on just like violence and statistics towards like, is it video games? Is it violent video games that's making people go nuts and want to shoot their school and blah blah blah, right? Because I mean, isn't that the big scare is that your child is sitting there and within, boom, he like plays a video game, his lust for killing everybody in a school, cannot be sated. He has to go out on a kill crazy murder spree, and video games are the only thing that's so I'm painting like a ridiculous.
Yeah, right. Guns don't kill people. Video games do, right? Like,
right. Like, it was people were never killing anybody until video games came along. I mean,
right.
I think the thing is that like video games are part of it. Like they can be part of it, but I think you have to sort of Jenga up the rest of the things. You have to add like a shitty home life.
Well, okay, but I'm also in America, Call of Duty is like the King Kong. In Japan, it's like weirdo like dancing games and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And kids in schools.
They are
in
weirdo.
Japan, yeah, and kids
weirdo with dancing games.
And kids in Japan, instead of shooting people, just like have dance offs, right? Which is so I think it's like the American culture more than the video game. Like you're reflecting the video games that we have into thinking it. I think it's maybe just like our mindset as Americans, right?
I think video games have a place, and I think that whole thing about what you said, sharing video games with your kid, I think is sort of my key takeaway is that like I'm going to be shepherding him around video games, just like I sort of had the same take on like TV shows. Like I don't.
What would be a game that you would start with once he has sort of the capacity to be able to do detailed stuff? Like what would you play with?
Why do you ask that? And I have just the game for you, my friend. It razzles, it dazzles, it glitters, and it's got all kinds of in-app purchases. How about crates? Do you like crates? $1.99. Get $1 out for you, 2 for $1. No, I honestly think what it is he's this summer. This will be his first foray outside of like arcade games and into sort of a realm that I know a little bit about, but I don't really know is Minecraft.
Yeah,
there's a week-long camp class at one of the camps around Alameda that teaches Minecraft. Sort of gives you like a little, dive into Minecraft.
Right, you make your own characters and that kind of crap.
Yeah, maybe make a house. Maybe you sort of learn how to like that you dig in the ground and you can like pull up little ores and stuff and make.
That's cool.
And some people think that's a game. Some people think Zynga makes video games. Like that's.
Oh, Zynga makes clickbait cows.
Oh yeah, and I've played so many.
I have friends who work there, so I shouldn't say too loud.
No, I've killed like not anymore. You just can't. But I mean, like the later 2000s, there were some Zynga things going on.
I would say for my kid, there's one thing like So, like Lisa and I used to play when we had the Wii up. We would play Super Mario Galaxy, and like
Fuck yeah, dude.
one
Galaxy's
of the,
great.
one of the controllers you could like collect the stars while the other person would run around and do stuff. And I think that's like a good entry point because it allows the other person to be engaged in what the person who has the more complex task to do, to be collecting things around, which is probably why, you know, Miyamoto is still such a genius at game development.
That totally makes me think of there was this like surgeon game on television where like you sort of were two controllers, but like you were sort of one unit. It was like microsurgeon, I think is what it was, and the idea is that you were set loose in the human body and like a little chip that had medicine in it, different kinds of medicine for like different kinds of problems with the body.
Yeah.
So one person like navigated the body, and the other person like distributed the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
exactly
like
right.
that
Like that might be a good way to sort of start playing with your kid. So there you go. Start with what was it called? Surgeon.
Well, he's going to start with Minecraft this summer.
Oh, okay. So Minecraft. So our advice to start with your kid is Minecraft and maybe Super Mario Galaxy, and stay away from Zynga and you know,
maybe
not
Mario
the shooters.
Kart, right? Maybe Mario Kart's too fast.
Maybe. Well, if this show stays on the air for the next few years, or on the air on the internets,
on the band.
Let's lead us out with your friend here, Darren, and then we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back with
my children have disarmed me.
A live draw where maybe we'll do some video
Can't believe I
game
was playing
sketches.
my kids on my inability
Darren,
to have
unprepared. Okay.
Here I have a sleeve of microphone tops. Come on, you bastard.
All right, we're going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back.
Bitch. Yeah.
And we'll come back into All right, since we're dragging, we're just gonna.
We are dragging. we are dragging the sag wagon tonight. Thank you for coming back. It was a quick break, a very quick break.
We're gonna go into our live draw here with our
sweet hot live draw, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, cool.
Get ready for Dad's undrawing.
All right. So I thought You said you wanted me to make a Griffin Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I think Griffin should be the Assassin's Creed guy, but not the one who's a bummer. The one from number 2. Number 2 is the sort of
Ezio Auditore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he like
I love that guy.
Like Leonardo da Vinci. He's sort of like that was the best.
That one was the best one. Like every mission would be like
piece of.
I am going to go up to the tower and take the jewel and then get the guys and do the thing and I will kill him and show him that I
have the ultimate white guy swagger. No, it was like the white robes. It was they were like assassins who could wear white robes. Like didn't have to dress like ninjas. They looked like sweet, cool birds. There it is.
His face is terrible.
That's exactly how Griffin looks.
I am so not with it tonight, my friends.
Dude, I'm just dragging all over the place. Like at some point, I just like look over at Allison, and she's just laughing at me because she just knows how tired I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, you'll be sorry when I go face down in the pasta fagioli. We're trying to make like stuff without meat in it, and it is hard. But she is really good at pasta fagioli.
Are you? What do you just like no meat household or something? Or
No, man. We eat meat all the fucking time. We just wanted to have like one meal where like an animal didn't have to die.
So this is my kid has like crazy fuzzy hair. So
dude, that is some crazy fuzzy hair. And he's like, is he up at one of those things, right? Like, you have to like climb to the highest thing so you get where the map unlocks.
Right, he like stands at the top.
Does Griffin know about video games?
Not really.
Yeah. Luke's really coming online about it. I mean, like the computer, like going to the arcade was one thing, but just like games on phones, games on screens, and shit like that. Like that's all starting to like come about.
Yeah, I mean, video games on phones. Yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And video games on phones too. I mean, come on, honestly.
There's not much you can really. Well, you can. Yeah. You can. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they've converted. Rockstar has converted a few of their Grand Theft Auto titles to phone games.
How is that possible?
Entire game. I bought them, but I have like been knocked out by like how I was just like, fuck this. I'm just not playing this game on this phone.
Yeah. When I taught a class at the Art Institute on video games, and those kids were like so hardcore. Like they all were probably sporting a hardcore. By the way, this was my attempt at a Mario.
Dude, thank you for the M up there, but I knew my Mario was.
Yeah.
If he was just taller, he'd be Luigi.
Right, and green.
Yeah, just defining Luigi versus Mario. What is that? That's a giant mustache.
Yeah, I mean these kids, they would be like. I'd be like, oh well, they would play twin stick shooters on their phone, and their thumbs would be this big, and they'd be doing this, and I'm like, there's no way you're going to be able to play it, and they would just be like just like going all out. I was like, my God, you like this you're
playing your phone as hard as you can. Yeah. My kid, Luke knows about Fruit Ninja, and
oh right,
yeah, that's like every once in a while, like we'll be on a plane. Something like that, or like he'll just play it for a couple minutes, but so like I just wish it would just keep it at that. But what was it the other day? There was another game, and it was just like, oh fuck, here it goes. It's all about the microtransactions now. Those are the things I'm afraid of. Like he has like the phone and just like boom, somehow buys like $50 worth of legend points or whatever the crap it is they're selling.
Yeah, I mean I think this is a much larger. Like, and we've sort of touched on this a little bit about like the technology world on like how they don't really have a business model. That's like when it's like when EA, remember when EA moved in the mobile space and they were like, no, we're giving all these games away for 99 cents because they wanted to like undercut the market. I don't know if it's just EA or just the market in general, but like everything just crashed. And so the only way to make money on these games is to make a super addictive kind of shitty game that has tons and tons of depth to it, and then hit your people with in-game transactions, right? Like
right. That's give you the magic bullets or whatever the thing is that you need to get into the deeper content,
right? Which causes everyone to be like nah, and more, right?
Yeah,
and it all comes around, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I have tried. I've given different phone games a try. Like years ago I gave Angry Birds. I think that's the one he wants to play. Well, I tried Angry Birds a little bit, and I can play for a little while, but I just feel like it's okay to rob me if I'm like playing a video game, like at an airport or something, and I'm just like playing over and over. I feel like you should just come up and pop me on the head and steal things from me. Like
So what have you played on your phone then, like that you've actually enjoyed?
I will
got
play
a few games that I like.
I like the Animation Throwdown on that Fox has for just like a card game that has like Family Guy and Futurama and like a bunch of different like King of the Hill and American Dad and Bob's Burgers as like.
What do you do? What do you like? It's like a castle builder kind of thing, or?
No, it's like 5 cards. It's like the cards have points, higher points, knock out lower points, and you can combo the cards together.
Oh, I got you. It's a card game. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they try to sell you stuff too, but you don't. I mean, like it's easy not to buy any of that stuff. So it's just kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like or a lot of the card game ones I think are actually kind of fun for a little while. The ones that that cost a couple of bucks. I can't think of one offhand, but I've definitely had those. I tried a Transformer game that was sort of like a game,
right?
But it it just turns out to be one of those things where they want you to come back every 4 hours to unlock this or unlock that, and I'm just like, that's not a fucking game,
right? Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite games ever was Might and Magic Clash of Heroes.
All right,
and which is
I remember that one,
dude.
Man.
I fucking love that game. So you basically have like a bad guy appear, and then you control, and you can either make a cross or this, and you like charge up your guys, and you charge this and stuff. So that came to the phone, and I had played that game all the way through like 3 times, and when it came to the phone, I played it again, and it was actually not bad. I mean, it was a little hard to get your fingers in there or whatever.
Yeah, but it's like playing Plants vs. Zombies on your phone. You can sort of
do it, right? Yeah, Plants Zombies is another pretty good one, a good castle defense. But like they just updated their OS 10 or whatever, and they don't support it anymore. So that was pretty much the only one that I'm trying to think what do I really.
That was one of those auditions I really wish I'd gotten, because they were looking. Remember the guy from Plants vs. Zombies was just like.
Oh yeah, like. Fred
I guess that guy wanted too much money, and some audition came by like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, where they were like, "Do your best Plants vs. Zombies," and I wish I could find that audition somewhere on a hard drive somewhere. But just,
that guy. That guy with the helmet.
Yeah, that was I fucking awesome. Love that dude.
Yeah, that was great. What an idiot! He's like, I want more money. Like, dude.
Yeah.
We can't find. It's kind of like this Qbert thing, right?
Yeah, there you are. That's the one, and it shoots peas. It's a pea shooter.
Pea shooter, yeah.
Yeah, Electronic Arts got their hands on that fucking game and just murdered it.
They really did, because George Fan, that was the game designer from the company that did PopCap. Yeah, didn't EA like buy PopCap?
Yeah, they did.
And then they took Bejeweled and they made that shit.
It's like what they did to Westwood. They just got him, and cornered him, and just squatted on him and just humped all the games out of him and just diluted the franchise.
Yeah. Or they did the same thing with what was the Oddworld? Didn't they do? They took
Oddworld. They made like a game every 3 or 4 minutes, I think, for a while there. It was just like Abe's Odyssey, Abe's Exodus, Abe goes and gets a.
Yeah, maybe we can do an episode on just how shitty EA is.
I'm sure they would appreciate our ire.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, they did it to Maxis, right? The Maxis made The Sims, and they were fine. And
but Maxis was fine until it became EA, and then EA tried to I mean, it's what happens when you try to really commercialize creativity. You lose some of that spark. This is my.
Or if you demand like for all of your expansions, like if you demand the same price as like the game, like that's the whole thing about it. Like an expansion for a game is sort of like, why is there an expansion? Why didn't you give us the whole game to begin with?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anyway, that's sort of far afield from like kids playing video games, but I like how Griff is sort of. I mean,
he's like overseeing this landscape of.
And he doesn't even snick out his little finger blade, Was Ezio the last one where they take a finger to give you the knife?
Does he actually lose his finger, or was that just sort of I don't...
Isn't that part of the Assassin's Creed thing? It's like you lose a finger. It's like your wedding finger or something.
No, I think if you don't know how to use it correctly or something, you lose a finger. I think that's what it was. I played 2 a number of times, man. I really thought
I thought they did a great job, man.
Two was
great.
the best. Yeah, 2 was the best, and then 4 was all right.
Yeah, Black Sails. That one's always on sale on Steam. It's like $5. I keep thinking I'm going to pick it up one of these days.
Have you played it?
No, I mean I watched you play it. It looked really good.
Oh, it was super fun. I mean, you start to kind of grind at the end when you're like, jump. It starts to get a little too easy to just beat up on ships.
Kind of how those games go. Like, do you find that I think that's my problem with video games is like I get past the difficulty curve and then I'm done.
Especially, well, that's the thing about Assassin's Creed is that what they've decided is that they're just going to put a lot into the story and keep the curve very, very low. Except for the you can get all 5-star or 3 stars, or like if you do it perfectly, you get 5 stars of that shit.
I like both of those methods. I hear what you're saying. It's like just sort of tell a really good story and make the player feel powerful.
Yeah.
It's like the Batman games. That was the most fun about those first couple of Batman games. Man, those were awesome. I remember
the Arkham City one I thought was great. The Asylum one was okay, but the Arkham City one.
Arkham City was the best one.
It was like an Assassin's Creed knockoff, though, right? I mean, that's basically.
Well, I mean, you're sort of, you're non-lethal, but you definitely do get to freak out people like by being Batman. You're like, whoa, who's here? He's here! Oh no! That was
the best part. Is like when you're hanging up on the top, and then you would swipe down or whatever.
And you do like the silent takedown. Yeah, I mean that's what being Batman is all about. I heard that those guys, they're gonna release a Superman game not too long from now.
I don't know if I feel about that. All right, so that was our live draw. We still got no one.
You are welcome.
You are welcome. We're going to take our last 2-minute break, and then we'll probably do our last short little roundup.
He's got a good ender for the episode.
Yeah, nice little
we're going to bring to you after the break.
So let's go back to our Chemical Brother little chill bumper, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Jen Remington is going to play us out a little bit here.
That's right. We'll be right back. All right, so this is the oh man, and our backgrounds aren't working any.
No!
This is what we get for having a great episode last week, one that drags the next.
Yeah.
So
this one's a big old.
I want to say that was Jen Remington does the music for us. You can follow her at HeyDog. That's HeyDoG.
2 G's.
.com. She's great. And then also you can follow us at Very Dad Ideas. I put that in the upper corner
right up there.
Yeah,
right
you can
there.
Follow us there on we're on everything. Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. I'll be posting our live draw, which is let me put that actually right to show you guys our live draw. This is our live draw. I've signed it off here. This is our video game live draw.
We've got a Koopa Troopa down there chilling with Griff's Griff Assassin's Creed. There's Vader. That son of a bitch.
Yeah. So and we're gonna. So what I thought, Darren, before we get into our last little bit of the night is I thought what I would do is I would take our top 6 episodes we've now done. This is I think our 8th episode we've done, our official episode.
That's right.
I'm going to take our top 6 episodes, which includes last week's and whatnot, and I'm going to put all of them on our website. I'm going to put a nice cover on them so they're found easier on YouTube.
Yeah. That's the stuff.
And then I'm going to set up on a website, make podcasts for those, and then I'm going to push that out to our social networks. So
that is a lot of work for you.
I know. I think it's like 2 hours of work, but I think if I do that, just you and I sharing that on our streams and then putting it out there a little bit, I think that's just going to help get us at least, maybe 2 or 3 more people to watch it.
2 or 3 more people. Who knows? Who can say? I think just my mention of Pasta Vajul earlier might have brought in
at least an army of people.
Oh
yeah. So yeah. This is the bit that I'd like to.
I love this. I love this bit.
So we always talk about phones and what we call meh, which is whenever Darren is demonstrating what the
here's me in profile. Just huffing air as hard as I can.
So whenever we're out and you see anybody or whatever, it's just like it's a constant. So it's kind of become our joke, our go-to joke. So we thought that we would do our recommendations. Recommendations. So things that we've seen on the internet that caused us to go for a period of time on our phone.
Stopped us for a second. Stopped us for just a second or two.
So I've got one. Do you got anything? Or
yeah.
All right. So let me move to our view screen here. And what do you got? Is there anything new?
Just the whole. You know me now. I'm just incredibly into sports all the time. I can't get enough of them. That's a major exaggeration. I was the Olympic doping scandal with a curler.
Oh yeah.
I was fascinated by that. I was just like, this is the first year, isn't it? I mean,
why do you need to dope when?
Right, is the instant immediate question.
Sorry,
like, A, why do we fucking need curling? And B, why? Why?
I mean, geez, what? Like, I guess you have to move the rug thing fast or something. He's just like, oh, I'm getting tired. I got to dope. That's a good one, man. You got sucked into the meh.
I clicked down through all of the things.
Oh, yeah, that's a dangerous ride right there. Okay. Yeah. Well, mine's a little bit lighter. I've got this is my cousin Patrick pushed this on his social media channel.
This is awesome.
This guy Tane Karane, whatever, Orion will track. Anyways,
we'll rate your Transformers thighs.
he basically says, "Would you fight these Transformers?" And he made a thread on Twitter, and he just basically did all of them, and they're all awesome. It's like, Megatron, would you fight Megatron? Do it. I will pay you. Fight him. You're most likely to lose because Megatron is a natural born cheater who would bring a flamethrower to a peaceful game of Dungeons and Dragons. But this asshole needs a swift kick in the trigger. Here's $50. Get going. I mean, all of them are just really, really great tongue in cheek. So
what does Soundwave say? What does Soundwave say?
Soundwave. Do I have to spell this out for you? This guy has 5 kids, and one of those kids is a fucking panther, a blackmail material on you. Don't fight Soundwave. Don't fight his 5 kids. Change your name. Yeah, so follow this
panther
guy.
Who has blackmail material on you? Yeah,
it's Tane Karahe. It's like my favorite thing that I found, and it's like perfect for you.
Dope.
Darren, you're not on Twitter. Also, if you happen to be on Twitter, you can follow us at Very Dad Ideas. This is our Very Dad.
We tweet from,
and you can watch us. You can see us. It's a little bit of a delay, but we're also on and we're streaming. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, so that is that. So folks, that is our episode. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back. We didn't talk about what we're going to do next week, but
we did. And we're not going to.
We're not going to. It's just the way it's going to be this week. Yeah. So thanks very much for joining us. Please follow us at Very Dad Ideas. And any major words
over there at Hey Dog.
That's true. Any major words before we go out, Darren?
The sweet release of death. I mean, sleep is upon us.
Is upon us.
Yeah.
My last thing is. All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. And good night.